What's going on, people, and welcome to my starting 11 for tomorrow's game against Norwich, and also reaction to Ralph Rangnick's press conference today. I want to get into the press conference stuff first. Noted a few things that stood out to me. He was asked why the team haven't sustained their performances in terms of getting results, and he said that there's been quite a few games where they played well but couldn't sustain that performance level. He mentioned Palace, Villa. I don't agree with him. Like, we might have shown glimpses, but we didn't. For me, they weren't full performances. So even though there was silver lining in the clouds, that it wasn't for long, and we've gone back to absolute rubbish football. So I don't necessarily agree with him that we couldn't sustain it, because it wasn't throughout the game anyway. So I disagree with him on that. He was asked about Erik ten Hag, the future, and what he thought of him coming in, and he basically kept just dodging it. He was asked several times about things about Ten Hag, and he kept saying that his focus was the Norwich game. It wouldn't make sense to speculate at the moment. He hasn't heard anything official, and I don't like that he's dodging that. I can see why he's doing it, but I don't agree with it again. They should be focused on the Norwich game, absolutely, but you could still answer the question, and I don't know what they think they're open to, or I feel like they leave themselves vulnerable if they just give their opinion on Ten Hag, because we know that he's coming. So I don't understand why he doesn't really answer them sort of things. He said that he's focused on the Norwich game. He doesn't know if the deal was done for Ten Hag, and he was basically refusing to answer questions about it. He is there to overlook the team at the moment and get performances, and that should be his focus. But to just dismiss questions like that, I don't get it, and I don't particularly like it. He called Fred and McTominay defensive midfielders. Totally disagree. So him believing that Fred and McTominay are defensive midfielders speaks volumes and worries me for transfers, because we've been desperately needing at least two of them for a few years now. Excuse the cat. We've been needing some centre defensive midfielders for a couple seasons at least, if not more. And how he phrased that and saying that he believes that they are defensive midfielders is a worry for me, because Fred and McTominay are not good enough, and they're not defensive midfielders anyway. So that was something that I really picked up on and I didn't like, because I think he's shown his cards there in terms of, we know that Matic can only play an hour and then he gets took off. He was the best in that position and the only one we've got that can play that role, and them two can't, and he thinks that they can. So that is a huge concern for me. He's saying that part of the reason for our poor performances and results have been injuries, like regarding Greenwood, Cavani and Martial not being around or available. The Greenwood thing was going to happen anyway with all this going on with him. The Cavani thing is annoying, because it just seems that he doesn't want to play anymore and he just wants to spend time in his country, which is a joke, because I was a fan of Cavani. But it's been a combination of him not wanting to play and he's not being available and fit as well a lot of the time when he could be. So that is a frustration. And the Martial thing, we know that he's not happy and wants to leave. So it's also coming out that Matic wants to leave as well. So there's always huge problems in this club, and it doesn't get resolved as quick as it should and needs to be. And it just adds to the drama and the soap opera that is Manchester United. So he said that we're missing Fred and McTominay and we're missing strikers. I don't think we are missing Fred and McTominay. I'm glad that they're out for these games. He said there's going to be several out for the Norwich game and Arsenal and Liverpool as well. I'm concerned. He said that Varane will be out. Luke Shaw has just had his operation the other day, removing bolts from his leg, so he's going to be out for a while, a good amount of time now. Varane is a concern, because he's obviously not fit and hasn't been for a while. Going forward with him as well, what have we done buying him if we know that he's got a bad injury history as well, and it's playing its part now? So we don't know when he's going to be back. McTominay and Fred, as I said, I'm not concerned that they're out, because I don't think they're good enough anyway. Varane is the only one, really. It'd be nice to have the option of Cavani if Ronaldo gets injured, but we haven't got him. But we're paying him huge wages, so it's just a mess. And it adds to, as I said, it adds to the soap opera. He said he was not happy at all about how the Everton goal was conceded. He believes as a team they could have defended it better. But he also said that he feels Matic could have shielded the ball better and defended the actual pass when it got to him better. I disagree with that. The speed of which the pass was played to him, he had two players either side of him and Fred gives him the ball. For me, that's 100% on Fred. Not that Matic gets dispossessed. Maybe he could be stronger, but you're not giving him any chance when you give him a ball in that position, because he's not an agile player, Matic. The only way you can get out of that is a quick reaction and being agile, which Matic is not. You can have all the strength in the world, but if you haven't got the reaction time and the agility, then it's going to be a problem, and he hasn't. And I think that goal is 100% on Fred from the get-go. Yes, we could have defended it from the point after where we lost the ball, but it starts from Fred's mistake, and he shouldn't be giving Matic that ball any day of the week. So for me, I disagreed on Rangnick saying that Matic could have defended his part better. I disagree. I think it's 100% on Fred. And then it is on the team after that once the ball is lost, but it starts from Fred's mistake. So there's going to be several players missing for several games now. The Norwich one, and then Arsenal, Liverpool at least. Varane, Shaw, Fred, McTominay and Cavani. Most of them will probably be out for a considerable amount of time. The cat wants to be in the video today, a lot. Going into my starting lineup, I would go with David De Gea. I would go with Dalot, Lindelof. I would have to put Maguire in there. I wanted to put Bailly in there. I don't know if he's fit though. They've been putting out videos the other day of his birthday and they're all celebrating, but I don't know why he's never in the squad. If he was available, I'm not sure if he's injured. If he is available and fit, I would go with Bailly and Lindelof, but because I'm not sure of his status, I would have to go with Maguire, even though I just don't think he's anywhere near good enough, especially as a captain. So I would go with Lindelof and Maguire simply on choice, because we don't have a lot of choices, and I don't know if Bailly's fit. If he is fit, why is he never in the squad? So he's by far superior to Maguire. So I think it should be Bailly and Lindelof, but we know it won't be. Telles as the left back. Luke Shaw obviously going to be out for a while now, and I think Telles deserves to be playing. Matic and Pogba in the midfield, but then you got the problem of after the hour mark, who do we bring on for Matic? Because if you bring Lingard on, he's more of an attacker. If you bring Mata on, he's more of an attacker, and he hasn't got the legs as much anymore. Unless you're going to put someone like Sancho or Elanga in a midfield role, even as a centre midfielder, and let's forget about the defensive side for a minute, even as a centre midfielder, I don't think Lingard can play that role because he's more attacking. And I don't think Mata can do it because of the legs. I think he can for ability, but he can't because of the legs. And he can't. He's another Matic in terms of he can't play after a certain amount of time. And we don't have any depth other than unless you're going to bring in Hannibal, which they don't seem to be wanting to do either and take a risk. So that's the concern for me. I do think Matic is good enough, but he obviously can't get through games. So I would go with Matic and Pogba, but then you've got the headache of who you're going to bring on for Matic later on. Pogba obviously wants to go, and we're not really getting a great deal of performances out of him because he's not happy. But again, we've got very little choices other than putting these players in. So I don't know what else we're supposed to do. Sancho on the right for me, Bruno at 10, Elanga on the left, and Ronaldo up top. Elanga's still very young, and I feel like he's very inconsistent at the moment. But he has shown glimpses in the past, and I think we need to stick with him because I think he's doing far more than Rashford does. I think Rashford started well in the Everton game, but then he drifted off, as did most of them. But I think he had them 2 chances, and I think he should have scored at least one of them. But I think Elanga should be playing because, as I said, Rashford drifts off too much. Sancho on the right for me, Bruno at 10, and then Ronaldo up top. But then, like I said, our bench is going to be looking weak. And then we go with a 2 goalkeeper thing as well on the bench. Like, why have we got to have 2 goalkeepers on the bench when you could have that position for someone else? You could have another centre-back. You could have another midfielder in there. Like, even if you bring a youth one in, you're giving up spots to have an extra keeper that you're never going to use. So I think they're getting that wrong as well as a tactical side and just as a manager. So that would be my lineup that I'd go with anyway, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and what you thought of Ralph Rangnick's press conference as well and his thoughts and quotes. And let me know your thoughts of our chances against Norwich tomorrow. As I said, I have predicted us to win, but I do think that they'll be up for it, Norwich. They've got everything to fight for, and they've got more fight in them than we have. So that can cause problems in itself, but I do think we should be winning tomorrow. But we should be winning a lot of these games this year, and we haven't. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Before I go, the target is 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of June. I can only do it with your support, guys. So make sure you come and join me on the road to 2,000 by the 1st of June. And I'll speak to you guys soon.